Welcome to my series, Who's Who in the Nativity Story. This is where we're taking a closer look at all of the people and the celestial beings involved in the birth of Christ. Today, we're going to talk about one of my least favorite people, King Herod. King Herod, at the time of Jesus' birth, was the king of Judea, and he was a client king, which basically means that he was serving at the pleasure of Rome. Now, King Herod was probably born in around 73 BC, and he was born of a family whose mother was an Idumean and whose father was from the Hasmonean family lineage. And his father grew into power because he was well regarded in the line of the Hasmonean families, and therefore he was able to secure a position for his two sons that were political in nature, basically governing over areas of Israel, and this includes Judea and the surrounding areas. Now, eventually, Rome comes into power in 63 BC, and now the whole landscape, the political landscape, has changed. But Herod was very clever. He was very smart, and he was able to navigate how to continue to ascend to power as a Jewish man of mixed ancestry, if you will, and also in the Roman world. Like, how do you do that? How do you navigate when you're looking for power in Judea and you come from a mixed background, but you have to also work with Rome? Now, Herod is capable of doing this in part because he befriends, if you will, and throws his allegiance behind Caesar Augustus. And the two men, who are just 10 years apart, kind of form a friendship, if you will. Like, Caesar needs Herod to make certain that that area, Judea, is protected and that it's secure for the Roman Empire. And of course, Herod wants the power. He wants to be the lead guy there in Judea. Herod had a very messy, crazy personal life. So in addition to trying to rule this land, he also had to rule over his family. And, he brought it on himself because he married 10 different women. Now, that's a lot. A lot of times they married for political reasons, but he also married for love as well. And he had 15 kids. And by the way, many of them were also named Herod, which is weird. But in any case, he's got this big, messy personal life, and he's always freaking out about retaining his power. He was a very paranoid man. He only cared about perpetuating his dynasty as the king of Judea. And so anybody that kind of got in his way, he killed him. He killed sons. He killed his favorite wife. By the way, he also killed her mother. So he really, he just didn't care so much about the people around him as we can see. He mostly cared about himself. He was a narcissist. So he has this reign of brutality. It's not unusual for him to take people out or to squelch skirmishes. He was a brutal ruler. And this is King Herod, who the Magi come to visit, and this is when he first hears that a king is born in his area. And because of his history, we can see how that would completely freak him out, make him paranoid and worried, and that causes him to issue the edict that every son, every boy in Bethlehem under the age of 2 needed to be killed. It's called the Massacre of the Innocents. And even though we don't have extra biblical evidence of this massacre, we can see that it's 100% within within what Herod would do. This is just who he was. In fact, among everything he did, that was probably the least notable as far as his brutality. Now, fortunately, Herod ends up dying this horrible, tragic death, which he deserves 100%, in the year 4 BC. So He's not the leader of the area when Jesus starts his ministry, but he is the leader when Jesus was born. And that is the story of horrible Herod.